Good morning, Ma'am Lawi. Good morning, everyone. I am Regina Lacaba, and I will be discussing about Noli Me Tangere's introduction, the author and his influences, historical and social context, relevance, and impact. First off, introduction. Noli Me Tangere, Latin for Touch Me Not, is the seminal novel by Filipino polymath and national hero Dr. Jose Rizal, published in 1887 in Berlin. The book is a work of fiction that provides a searing and critical expose of the social injustices and systemic corruption prevalent in the Spanish colonial Philippines in the 19th century. Next, the author and his influences. Dr. Jose Rizal was a physician, writer, and a leading figure of the propaganda movement, an organization that advocated for political reforms for the Philippines under Spanish rule. Rizal's life was defined by his pursuit of knowledge and his deep love for his country. His most profound influences were his personal experiences growing up in Calamba, Laguna, witnessing the abuses of power firsthand. Family persecution. Rizal's family faced eviction disputes with the Dominican friars who owned vast estates in the region, providing a direct source of inspiration for the novel's themes of land abuse and ecclesiastical power. On martyr's death, the execution of the three Filipino priests, Gumburza, Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, on false charges of rebellion in 1872, profoundly influenced the young Rizal, dedicating his second novel, El Filibusterismo, to their memory. Exposure to liberal ideas. While studying in Europe, Spain, Germany, Rizal encountered liberal ideologies and modern political thought, contrasting starkly with the repressive conditions in his homeland. Now, let's talk about historical and social context. The novel is set against the backdrop of the Philippines under the Spanish colonial regime, which had lasted for over 300 years. This era was characterized by friar dominance. The friars, Spanish regular clergy, held immense political, economic, and moral authority, often exceeding that of the civil government officials. They controlled large haciendas, managed education, and were the primary agents of social control. This influence is a central critic in the novel, personified by the characters like the corrupt Padre Damaso. Social inequality and injustice. Philippine society was highly stratified. The native Filipinos, Indios, faced racial discrimination, exploitation, and were denied basic human rights. A rigid caste system placed Spaniards at the top, followed by Creoles and Mestizos, and finally the native population. Censorship and repression. Any form of dissent or call for reform was met with harsh punishment. The atmosphere was one of fear, where justice was a commodity, and the legal system often favored the powerful Spanish elite. Lastly, relevance and impact. Rizal wrote Noli Me Tangere as a diagnosis of the social cancer plaguing his society, using the novel as a mirror to expose the hypocrisy of the church and the brutality of colonial administration. The book's relevance lies in its ability to spark national consciousness. Upon its release, the book was immediately banned by Spanish authorities, who perceive it as subversive and heretical. Reading or owning the Noli could lead to imprisonment or exile. This controversy, however, only amplified its message. Rizal was eventually exiled in Dapitan in Mindanao and later executed by firing squad in 1896, largely because of his writings. Noli Me Tangere remains a foundational text in Filipino literature and history, serving as a powerful catalyst for the Filipino Revolution and a timeless call for justice and national identity. Thank you very much.
Hi, Ma'am Lowy. Today I will be presenting the plot summary of of Noli Me Tangere, focusing on the plot timeline, major events, conflict, rising action, climax, resolution, and the tragic elements of the story. To begin, let's start with a brief plot overview. Noli Me Tangere centers on Crisostomo Ibarra, a young Filipino who returns home after studying in Europe. He arrives full of hope and plans for progress, but soon realizes the corruption, injustice, and abuse of the power under Spanish colonial rule. His desire for reform brings him into conflict with powerful authorities, setting off a chain of events that change his life and the lives of everyone around him. Okay, now let's move on to the plot timeline. Number 1, Ibarra returns to the Philippines. He reconnects with his loved ones, especially Maria Clara. He uncovers the truth about his father's death. Ibarra's begin community project like building a school. Friars and officials start opposing him. Conspiracies begin to form against him. A major crisis erupts in the town. And lastly, the story concludes with tragedy and separation. Next, let's talk about the setting. The story takes place mainly in San Diego, a fictional town inspired by Rizal's hometown. Key locations include the Ibarra's residence, the church and covenant, Capitan Tiago's house, the school construction site, and the surrounding forest in the field. These places reflect the social and political environment of the Spanish colonial era. Let's proceed to the main event of the novel. This includes the return of Ibarra, his relationship with Maria Clara, his plan to build a school, growing tension with the friars discovering the truth about his father, the rising conflict in the town, a violent turning point event, and ultimately the tragic ending. Now let's examine the central conflict with authorities. The core conflict is between Ibarra and the Spanish friars and the colonial officials. While Ibarra promotes education and progress, the authorities seek to maintain their power. Because of this, they spread lies, sabotage the school project, manipulate public opinion, and set trap to ruin him. This struggle drives the story forward. From there, we move into the rising action. The rising action unfolds as Ibarra pushes forward with the school project. The friars feel threatened and begin plotting the truth about his father, intensify the conflict. The town becomes increasingly divided. These tensions build up toward the most crucial moment. Following this is the climax. The climax is marked by a large and chaotic incident that puts Ibarra's life in danger. This is where all tensions erupt and this future becomes uncertain. After the climax, we get to the resolution. By the end of the novel, the characters face heartbreak and the painful effect of oppression. Ibarra's dreams collapse, Maria Clara's fate becomes tragic, and the community continues to suffer under colonial power. The ending is sorrowful but powerful, preparing the readers for the sequel, El Filibusterismo. And lastly, let's highlight the tragic elements. Good intentions destroyed, corruption, love hindered by deceit and manipulation, innocent people suffering under oppression, characters losing their freedom, future, and identity. That's all. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ma'am Levi. I am Balyonica Rizal, and today I will be presenting a character analysis of the major character in Jose Rizal novel entitled Noli Me Tangere. This analysis focuses on their personalities, symbolism, and their role in the societal and political landscape of this story. First is we have Crisostomo Ibarra. Crisostomo Ibarra is the idealist and the hope for reform. Ibarra is the educated Filipino who returns from Europe with dreams of uplifting his country. He symbolizes the youthful hope, progress, and peaceful reform. His desire to build a school shows his belief that education is a decay to freedom. However, he is also idealistic and sometimes naive. Unaware of how deep the corruption in society runs. His conflict with the friars, especially in Padre Damaso, show how dangerous it is for Filipino to challenge colonial power. The second one is Maria Clara. And I know all of you already know who is Maria Clara. Maria Clara is the Dalagang Pilipina and the nation's honor. Maria Clara represents purity, innocence, and the traditional image of the ideal Filipina. Her character reflects how women during the Spanish era were powerless, controlled by men, and treated like oppositions. Her suffering symbolizes the suffering of the country, beautiful yet oppressed. She also embodies the conflict between the happiness and the societal expectations. The third one is Padre Damaso. Padre Damaso is the abusive power of the friars. Damaso is the face of the clerical abuse in the Philippines. He is arrogant, loud, and manipulative, using religion as a shield to hide his cruelty and greed. He symbolizes the corruption of the friars, and his influence in society shows how the church controlled politics, reputation, and even relationships. His hatred towards Ibarra reveals the injustice Filipino faced under abusive authorities. The fourth one is Elias. Elias is the revolutionary spirit. Elias is brave, selfless, and willing to sacrifice everything for his country's future. He symbolizes the awakening of the Filipino desire to fight oppression, a contrast to Ibarra's peaceful reform. While Ibarra's represent change through revolution, his tragic fate reveals the harsh reality that the system destroyed those who fight for justice. The fifth one is Sisa. Sisa is the mother who lost everything. Sisa is a symbol of an oppressed Filipino parent, abused by the society and abandoned by the system that should protect her. Her descent into madness reflects the following. The first one is the cruelty of the colonial crew. The second one is the poverty faced by the Filipinos. The third one is the helplessness of the lower class. The fourth one is the pain of the mother who only wants to protect her children. Her character is deeply emotional and symbolizes the nation's suffering. The sixth one is the Basilio and Crispin, which is the children of Sisa. The children victims of injustices. These brothers represent the innocence of the Filipino youth destroyed by the colonial cruelty. Crispin and Basilio disappearance and trauma highlights the following. The first one is the abuse in the church. The second one is the child labor. The third one is the exploitation of the power. Their story strengthens Rizal's critique of society where even children are not safe. The fourth one is Captain Tiago. Captain Tiago is also known for being social climber. Tiago symbolizes the Filipino elite who sided with the Spaniards for power and protection. He is wealthy but submissive, showing how the rich would rather cooperate with the colonizer than help fellow Filipinos. Her character reveals the social mentality of the time. Status and connections were valued above morals. So, all in all, these characters, Rizal reveals how different sectors of society experience injustice. Women, children, the poor, the educated, and even the elites. Each character becomes a symbolic piece of the larger story of the Filipino struggle for freedom. That's all. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something from this discussion.
Good morning, Ma'am Levi. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jade Michael Ada, and I will be guiding you through the profound symbolism in Jose Rizal's No Limitare. Far beyond a simple narrative, Rizal weaves symbols to expose the Philippines' colonial wounds, igniting themes of nationalism, corruption,
and the stark divide between authentic religion and clerical hypocrisy. These aren't abstract devices, they're mirrors to society, with direct echoes in social sciences. Drawing from the text, let's illuminate these layers. At the novel's core is the cancer ng lipunan, the social cancer, symbolizing the festering corruption and oppression under Spanish rule. Rizal dedicates the book to this social organism. Exemplified in Don Santiago de los Santos' unjust imprisonment and death, it represents how abuses by friars and officials metastasize, eroding national spirit. This fuels nationalism, calling Filipinos to excise the diseases through unity and reform, much like Rizal's vision for enlightened resistance. Contrasting this darkness is the lamp, a beacon of enlightenment and latent revolution. In chapter 18, Elias hands Ibarra a mysterious lamp that detonates at the San Diego fiesta, nearly killing Padre Salvi. Its steady flame signifies knowledge's quiet power, while the blast warns of corruption's explosive backlash. Here, Rizal critiques hypocrisy. The church, a guardian of light, prefers shadows to hide graft, stifling the illumination of truth. Ibarra's school project embodies hope and nationalist progress, a symbol of education as the antidote to ignorance. Though thwarted by friar intrigue in chapters 20 to 25, it underscores religion's hypocritical role. Meant to uplift, it instead perpetuates colonial control, blocking societal advancement. Night and dawn further this binary. Night cloaks the era's despair as it ceases nocturnal wanderings amid family ruin, evoking the dark ages of superstition. Dawn, glimpsed in the novel's close, heralds awakening, national rebirth through sacrifice, inspiring the propagandist movement's push for reform. Cemeteries and burials haunt the tale, symbolizing buried injustices and lost potentials. The desecration of Ibarra's father's grave in chapter 13 by Padre Damaso exposes extortionate religious rites, turning sacred ground into a graveyard of Filipino dignity, a direct jab at corruption masquerading as piety. Cancer recurs personally, afflicting Capitan Tiago and mirroring societal rot, but Maria Clara stands as its human emblem. The idealized Filipina, pure, yet ensnared by patriarchal and colonial forces. Her discovery of her true parentage in chapter 63 and convent retreat symbolize the nation's violated innocence, corrupted by hypocritical vows that bind rather than liberate. Rizal's symbols, cancer to cure, lamps to ignite, remain urgent, dissecting how power distorts faith and society. They remind us true nationalism dawns from exposed truths. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I hope all of you are doing well. My name is Mary Joanie Escarcelazo and I will be discussing my analysis of Noli Me Tangere through conflict theory, my social and political commentary, its connection to real-world issues, historical parallels, a critique of colonial education, racial discrimination, abuse of clergy, and its relevance to the Philippine revolutionary movement. Let's begin. First off, my analysis of Noli Me Tangere through conflict theory is that Jose Rizal's Noli Me Tangere in 1887 exposes the injustices of Spanish colonial rule. Using conflict theory based on Karl Marx's ideas, we see the novel as a story of power struggles between the dominant class, which is the Spanish authorities and friars, and the oppressed Filipinos, the Indios, Mestizos, and the masses. Rizal shows how colonizers used political control, religion, and ideology to exploit Filipinos, creating inequality and social tension. The novel becomes a tool of resistance by revealing these abuses and giving voice to the oppressed. The novel criticizes the abuse of power by the colonial government and the church. Characters like Ibarra represent reform and progress, while friars like Padre Damaso symbolize corruption and hypocrisy. Rizal highlights how religion and politics were merged to control Filipinos, blocking education, manipulating justice, and maintaining strict social hierarchies. Scenes like extravagant fiestas, hiding widespread poverty, emphasize the inequality created by colonial systems. The book's connections to real-world issues is that Nolimi Tangere reflects on the 19th century colonial problems, corruption, injustice, and exploitation, many of which still exist today. The Friars' land control mirrors modern issues like corporate exploitation in developing countries. The corruption in the novel can be compared to political scandals in current governments, including the Philippines. Rizal's emphasis on education as a tool for empowerment also connects to today's struggles with unequal access to quality education. Its historical parallels are that many characters and events reflect real historical situations. Ibarra represents the Ilustrados and the propaganda movement. The abusive friars resemble real religious orders that controlled land and politics. Themes of false accusations echo events like the Cavite Mutiny of 1872. Elias foreshadows revolutionary leaders and movements that would later fight colonial rule. This mirrors other global anti-imperialist struggles, such as in India or Algeria. Its critique for colonial education is that Rizal criticizes the colonial school system for promoting obedience rather than critical thinking. Schools were controlled by friars and focused on religious doctrine, preventing Filipinos from gaining knowledge that could empower them. Ibarra's school project symbolizes the desire for modern, secular education, but it is sabotage, showing the colonizers feared educated natives. This problem remains relevant today, as education still reflects social inequality. The racial discrimination faced in the book is that Spanish colonizers treated Filipinos as racially inferior to justify their domination. Characters like Maria Clara show how mestizos struggle with identity, while Indios face discrimination in legal and social systems. This reflects the historical casta systems and connects to modern issues like colorism, xenophobia, and discrimination based on ethnicity or class. The abuse of clergy in the book is that the novel's strongest criticism is directed at corrupt friars who use religion for personal gain. Padre Damaso and Padre Salve represent moral corruption, using their positions for wealth, land control, and sexual misconduct. Their involvement in governance shows how the church acted as a tool of colonial rule rather than spiritual guidance. And lastly, its relevance to the Philippine revolutionary movement is that Nolimi Tangere played a major role in sparking Filipino nationalism. It inspired leaders like Andres Bonifacio and pushed the movement from peaceful reform to revolutionary action. Because the novel exposed colonial abuses, it was banned, but its secret circulation only strengthened resistance. Its impact continued throughout the revolution and beyond, proving the power of literature to inspire social change. Today, it remains relevant for understanding issues like corruption, inequality, and the fight for justice. That is all. Thank you for listening.
So good day everyone. Good day mom. I'm Ivan Ulysses G. Tobiaso and I will be discussing about the literary style and conclusion about the Nolimi Tangere. Nolimi Tangere stands as one of the most influential literary works in the Philippines. Philippine history. In this novel, Jose Rizal carefully combines realism, satire, and foreshadowing to expose the social abuses of Spanish colonial period. His writing style is both artistic and purposeful, designed not only to tell a story but also to awaken a society to its own injustices. Through his blend of narrative techniques, Rizal transforms a fictional novel into powerful instruments of social change. First, a defining aspect of Rizal's literary style is his use of realism, which is evident in his detailed portrayal of Philippine society. He grounds the story in familiar settings such as towns, churches, schools, and family homes. The characters represent real social groups: the friars, ilustrados, Indios, women, officials, and peasants. Their struggles with the corruption, discrimination, and inequality reflect the actual conditions of colonial life. Through realistic dialogue and everyday scenarios, Rizal ensures that readers can easily recognize themselves and the society around them in the novel. This realism gives them the book its emotional weight as it represents truth in a form that is impossible to ignore. The next one is satire, where Rizal subtly criticized the government, the church, and the social hypocrisy. Many scenes exaggerate the absurdity of colonial officials, vanity, the friars' abuse of authority, and the people's blind obedience. Characters like Padre Damaso and Doña Victorina embody exaggerated versions of arrogance and pretension, making the flaws of society more visible. By using humor and irony, Rizal softens the harshness of his criticism, yet ensures readers see the moral and political issues beneath the surface. And another technique present in the novel is foreshadowing, which Rizal uses to build tension and prepare readers for tragic events. Hints about Ibarra's struggle appear early in the novel, such as warnings about the power of friars and repeated mentions of his father's unjust death. Subtle clues signal the coming downfall of hopes, including the school project's failure and the eventual framing of Ibarra. Through these hints, Rizal keeps readers aware of the dangers that lie beneath every attempt at reform, emphasizing how deeply corruption has penetrated the society. The overall impact of Noli Me Tangere on the society is profound. Upon publication, the novel awakened Filipino nationalism and encouraged people to question colonial abuses. It exposed the truths that were previously silenced, giving a voice to the oppressed and sparking conversations that eventually contributed to the Philippine Revolution. Even today, its influence continues in education, culture, national identity. Novel remains key symbol of the fight for justice and inequality, or equalities. In terms of modern relevance, Noli Me Tangere remains as significant because the theme it addresses abuse of power, social inequality, prejudice, and the need for reform to continue to exist. Current issues involving corruptions, censorship, discrimination, and social justice echo the problems Rizal depicted. Novel encourages readers today to remain critical, informed, and courageous when confronting injustices. It serves as a reminder that true freedom and progress require awareness, unity, and moral integrity. In conclusion, Noli Me Tangere is more than a literary masterpiece. Through realism, satire, and foreshadowing, he creates a powerful narrative that exposes societal problems while inspiring a desire for change. Its lasting impact on Philippine society and its continued relevance in modern times show that the novel remains an essential reflection of the nation's struggles and hope. That's all. Thank you.